Long before Korea became a dream, it was simply something I discovered through a television screen. I was just a Nigerian kid, growing up in a home where my sister and I found our own little world in Korean dramas. Back then, watching K-dramas meant going to a store and buying them on DVDs. My sister and I would save part of our pocket money just to buy enough discs to finish a series. And somehow, our collection kept growing. We had so many that we eventually had to hide them in the wardrobe, because we definitely didn't want Dad knowing how much of our pocket money was going into Korean dramas. But those DVDs gave us something priceless. Hours of laughter, suspense, tears, and memories that my sister and I still share today. I didn't know it then, but Korea was already becoming part of my childhood. One of the first historical Korean dramas I remember watching was Isan. And that was when Korea became more than just stories. I began becoming curious about its history, traditions, clothing, and culture. Then came the moment I bought a modern Korean drama with my own money. Love Rain. I remember the feeling of choosing it for myself. It wasn't just another DVD anymore. It felt like something I had discovered on my own. And growing up didn't make the love disappear. Even after I got older, my sister and I still found ourselves sitting together and watching Korean dramas. Some things simply become part of you. Then one day, music opened another door. The first K-pop song I heard was BTS's DNA. I didn't know it at the time, but that was the beginning of another chapter. Then 2020 happened. The world became quieter, everyone stayed home, and as someone who naturally enjoys her own space, I found myself looking for things that could make those days feel a little less overwhelming. That's when I discovered Island. A survival show where I found myself watching contestants chase their dreams, and somehow, I became invested in their journey too. I watched episode after episode. I rooted for the contestants, followed their progress, and before I realized it, I wasn't just watching a show anymore. I was discovering a whole new side of Korean entertainment. Then came the performance that made Two Faces impossible for me to forget. Sunwoo and Jake. Sunwoo immediately became my bias, and Jake became my all-time bias wrecker. But honestly, I grew to love every member for something different. And when ENHYPEN finally debuted, I was so happy knowing that I had followed their journey from before debut. That feeling of watching something grow from the beginning stayed with me. From there I discovered more K-pop groups, more music, more stories. And eventually, K-pop became another way for me to explore Korea. I became an engine, and I knew this wasn't just a passing interest anymore. Then I started bringing Korea into my kitchen. I tried making Korean-style ramen, and even attempted tteokbokki using ingredients I could create here in Nigeria. It wasn't perfect, but I loved the experience of trying. And yes, I even got myself chopsticks. Eventually, I wanted to understand Korea beyond subtitles. So I started learning Hangul. Letter by letter, word by word, I began teaching myself a language that once looked completely unfamiliar. I practiced through language apps, Korean lessons, and the K-dramas I had loved for years. Things I once watched purely for entertainment became opportunities to learn. And slowly, Korean started feeling a little less foreign. My curiosity didn't stop with language and entertainment. I became fascinated by Korean beauty, skincare, traditions, food, fashion, and everyday culture. The more I discovered, the more I wanted to know. And now, after all these years, I don't want Korea to exist only on my screen anymore. I want to experience the places I've watched, hear the language around me, taste the food, learn from the culture, and finally see the Korea I've been discovering from thousands of miles away. From a little girl watching Korean dramas in a Nigerian living room, to discovering K-pop, to learning Korean, to becoming a K-influencer. My journey with Korea has never been just about what I watched. It has become a part of how I learn, create, dream, and see the world. This is my Korea.